What is up, DTube and Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about something great I found, which I think is kind of pointing us into the direction I think interfaces should go towards. So we know that forums has been a big aspect of the internet a very long time, but the old ways of doing things with forums, it wasn't a smooth experience. So for example, first you have to create an account, you have to fill in all these things that you don't really care that much about, and then what happens is usually the interface is designed for not for smartphones, it's designed for desktop computers, and it's usually a pretty clunky interface. It's not very inspiring, and it takes a long time to find your way around things. So, and they don't really encourage a person to quickly get into discussion and talking. And I think that's one of the key aspects. Getting a person super fast getting into discussions and seeing stuff that they enjoy and be able to engage with it quickly. And some company that seems to be doing this right is so Brave, which is doing the Brave browser with a built-in crypto wallet and using the BAT token. So you're even gonna get paid. They're gonna both pay creators and even consumers can get paid in BAT tokens when they're viewing ads. So what I discovered was the Brave forum, the Brave community forum. They were using some new software, I feel, which was it felt like a modern forum, and it was amazing because it's very easy to get into discussions. You don't feel it feels like a place you want to go to because people. The forum, I'm not sure what kind of forum technology or software that they're using, but it's amazing because you can see how fast, how rapid people engage with it by creating new discussions or replying to stuff, because they have designed this interface. I'm not sure if they're using some interface, but they have this software there where you can instantly see new discussions going on, and it feels very engaging and fun. And that's when I sort of realized we sort of need Steam to have some kind of interface like this, some kind of forum interface that promotes discussions or promotes you to instantly engage with something that you're interested in. And we need an interface with this, with some kind of token system. And we know that the smart media tokens, that project has been delayed. So we don't really know if we're going to see something like this on the Steam blockchain, but it sort of feels like eventually we are going to get some kind of feature like this, and it's probably going to be paired with the original Steam token, because the original Steam token is probably too scarce to quickly share around in a forum-based system. Most people are going to power it up to Steam power, so there's not going to be that much liquid Steam flowing around. At least I don't think so. And we see these projects that are building on the Steam blockchain, how many of them are going to implement their own tokens, but it's going to take a long time, or it's going to take a few years before we see this starting to get out and starting to be developed. Right now it's still in very early mode, so we still have a very geeky interface on Steemit, which it doesn't encourage people to comment super much, and it sort of is. It is what it is right now. But when I was using this new kind of forum on Brave, I realized that the only thing that needs to happen is a little bit better interface experience and an easier onboarding process. If you fix those two things, because the technology behind the Steam blockchain, that's already solid. But if you only fix the onboarding and the visual experience and just make it easier to engage and connect all these different tokens with each other we see chains starting to get connected to each other. So it gets easier for every day that goes to switch between various tokens and various projects and various blockchains, and it's just going to get easier and easier and easier. And that is, after a while, I think in 2 to 3 years, that is when we're going to see more focus on the visual interface, how we can make it more pleasing for people to use it, and the blockchain stuff just goes on in the background, and most people will never see the code or be that focused on it, because it's just gonna work. And when something just works, people don't have to constantly look at the code. For example, I love to go in and watch transactions, see if they get verified, and 99% of the times, or maybe 98% of the times, it works perfect. But it still is that 1% time where it gets stuck on pending or something, and eventually that's going to get fixed. And then I think that people are even going to look less at the code aspect. But it's interesting to look at the social media aspect and connect it to crypto, and it's going to be interesting to see how Facebook is going to try to transition into this new era, because it is kind of it's such a nuanced field where it's a switch between two different systems, centralized and decentralized, and it's not so easy to just make a switch and see who is going to come out on top, because you still, even though people use decentralized systems, you still need sort of people having responsible roles. So that's a very nuanced thing, where if everyone if nobody had a role, if nobody got a salary, you still need aspects of that salary, stuff like that, so developers can work on stuff. So the transition phase, that is when stuff can seem a bit slow, a bit boring, because it's not free to develop new software. It's not free to develop better new visual interfaces. It costs a lot, and do the aspect of research and development, that costs a lot to find exactly what works and what doesn't work, and problem solve. And even as a geek using these blockchain interfaces, I'm sort of starting to get to a point right now where I sort of starting to understand it super good, but it's been taking a long learning curve, almost 2 years, to sort of get a grasp on this ecosystem. And I can constantly see how things can always be improved, and that eventually we're gonna get to the stage where we get some kind of real forum software, because almost all the forums that exist out there right now, they're running on old stuff that's not ready for a new world, for a token-based world, and for a world where we try to be more efficient in what we're doing. I saw a comment about this, that free speech, for example, when we become the operating system, as with EUS.io software, and this is even going on somewhat already on the Steam blockchain also, that stuff costs resources. When I'm doing this video, I'm taking some resources and I have them locked up some Steam power so I can post some more stuff. So everything's sort of going to cost resources. So it's both going to give more ownership, but it's always also someone that pays in many aspects, because the technology and hosting and stuff like that, there's still a lot of aspects that cost money. And that's why we basically locking up, for example, Steam power, so we get more resources, so we can post more stuff. But it also makes us more mindful about the aspect of trying to post, not trying to be spammy, but try to be very resource efficient and try to post really engaging and interesting stuff, or use some fun stuff sometimes, used to make someone's day a bit better. And optimized forum technology, which which makes people more a part of the process of doing something. That's really gonna spark more discussions about stuff. For example, they're also looking at this with mail, that soon we might have a mail on the US blockchain with D-mail, and that every mail you send, you may have to use a token for it to verify it. And this also makes people consider the network aspect more, how the world works, and that they're not just, for example, on Instagram and Facebook, we are pretty ignorant towards the cost that Facebook has, and if someone need to pay for it with advertising. But if we own the resources, if we own the bandwidth, the RAM, the network, if we own that by staking tokens and things like that, we become more mindful of the whole aspect of a network and how important it is that we try to say really good stuff that might benefit a lot of people, or sharing interesting knowledge, or try to make someone's day a bit better, and that we don't just take all this technology for granted, because it can go away tomorrow. If something happened with the technology, if it goes down, it's not here anymore. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we can keep thrive towards a more decentralized future, even though it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time. But a good interface will make people that have never chatted away before. For example, even though forums have existed on the internet for probably 25 years or so, it still is a very geeky experience. And we haven't really the mainstream is not super interested in going to a forum, because it still is this sort of scary experience for some people. But as technology gets out there and accessibility gets easier, and people can look at maybe make their own forum, make their own software, make their own token, make their own blockchain. When we allow more entries, more people to experiment with technology, that means that we're probably going to get some innovation faster, better tokens, better blockchain, better forum software, and eventually we're all just going to start to shift towards the people that innovates the most. And in the past it was the Google guys, the Apple, Steve Jobs, and but in the future we're gonna get super many people, regular peoples, average Joes, average Joe, that can do some cool stuff, because we try to make an environment where we try to give incentive for people to use their intelligence, to ask questions. Lumius, Swelly, Rave, sharing YouTube videos with other people and earning tokens at the same time, making ecosystems more transparent. Transparency is a very big thing, because with the old systems, for example, you can book a flight and they can even cancel that flight because something happened to the airplane, and then you have to call up them to get your money back, because they basically took the money and they are not even gonna care to give it back to you unless you contact them, and then you might not even be able to get it back. So that's super creepy. So how a smart contract, for example, could work is you put the money in a smart contract, and if the plane gets cancelled, you instantly get your value back. And that's how it should work. And yeah, so it's kind of exciting to see all this be developed. And for example, with the Instagram, we see how it starts to become a little bit more mainstream, about people easily can discuss stuff, because the Instagram software is really, really good. It's really speedy and optimized. It only needs a built-in token, right? And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually, but it's gonna be some bumpy years, I think. The next 5 years are gonna be some of the more exciting years, but also many bumps and much confusion, because technology just changes a lot of things. Especially it speeds up things, because when we use words, we create new realities. So if we can get more people to talk, to be more engaged, to just try to discuss something a little bit, or try to wonder a little bit more and maybe share that with other people, it sparks up potential new realities. And I think that is one of the more exciting things about the internet, and the real internet will soon go live. Last 20-25 years we've only been using a very basic internet, but a real internet is coming soon with a blockchain future. Yeah, have an awesome day, DTube. Have an awesome day. Stay blockchain. Bye.